that I'm blessed to work for a company who says very proudly and very publicly, our purpose is to feed the human spirit. We don't say our purpose is to sell groceries.
I'm your host, Taylor Ann Carpenter, and welcome to The Talk Chamber, a production of the Greater Memphis Chamber. The Talk Chamber is the podcast for the latest on the Chamber, economic development, and all things Memphis. Today's episode of The Talk Chamber features Micheal Cristal, the Division President of Kroger. Micheal, thanks so much for hopping on the podcast with me.
Oh, excited to be here with you. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. What a great opportunity to talk about Kroger, great opportunity to talk about Chamber, but more importantly, a great opportunity to talk about our great city.
Of course. So why don't you start off by just telling us about yourself?
Yeah, so born and raised in a little small town called Grenada, Mississippi, which is about 95 miles south of Memphis. Grew up, the local networks here broadcast in Grenada, and so had some familiarity with the city. I always said as a kid, because we actually visited Memphis, visited Liberty Land, came here for concerts with my aunt. Always said if I was blessed to grow and become older and become an adult, I would love to make Memphis home. And so married for 38 years to my beautiful wife. Have three beautiful children, Lauren, Brandon, and Jalen. I'm alum of Mississippi State University. Blessed to serve as international president of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, a fraternity I've been a member of for 43 years. Pretty engaged here in the community. I'm a member of the board of directors for the Chamber. I served on the board of governors for New Memphis. This year I'm blessed to serve as chairman of the American Heart Association Heart Walk. And so I'm pretty engaged. And I tell you, couldn't imagine being in any other place other than this great city.
So how did you get your start at Kroger?
Yeah, so what a great question. So I'm a senior at Mississippi State, preparing for graduation, and I'm starting to use the placement office as an opportunity for interviews. And I interviewed with Kroger. I got into business as a bagger in my hometown of Grenada. The city of Memphis should be familiar with Jitney Jungle grocery stores. I worked with them in the 11th grade and 12th grade, so that's how I got started in the industry. But then as I stated, I interviewed with Kroger back when I was preparing for graduation and came here. Got hired as a management trainee. Did many things within the company. I was blessed to serve in many roles here in the city. I spent about 22 years here in Memphis. Then I ended up working up in our corporate office in Cincinnati. Had an opportunity to come back to the division. Our division represents 93 stores in West Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi. So I had an opportunity to serve as district manager in Little Rock. I came back to Memphis as a district manager, and then I was blessed to be promoted to an executive role, director of operations in Atlanta, vice president of merchandising and brand out at QFC in Seattle. And then I got a chance to go to Phoenix, Arizona, as vice president of operations, and then I came back to Memphis as division president in May of 2022.
You just told us you have lived all over the states.
Yeah.
But you somehow keep finding your way back here, finding your way back to Memphis.
Yeah.
What is it about Memphis that keeps bringing you back?
What a great question. As I said, as a kid, had an affinity and a connection to Memphis, and certainly don't mean to be Pollyannish, but I love the city. I love the energy of the city. I love everything that represents the city. And I remember when I kind of navigated, I tell people, I kind of went out and saw the Kroger world. And I remember when my manager started having some conversation with me about, hey, Micheal, we might think there might be an opportunity for you to become a division president. And I shared with her, and I ultimately shared with her manager, if I'm blessed to get that role, I'd love to come back and run the division that I was blessed to start my career with. And, when I came back to Memphis in May, man, the city had a vibe. Keep in mind, I left Memphis in 2013, so I've been gone 9 years. And the city that I saw when I came back was a very different city than I saw when I left. The energy was different. The attitude was different. I remember walking downtown. It was just so much energy downtown. And downtown looked very different than what it did when I left. And so I walked around, felt encouraged and inspired by what it was, and then to have an opportunity to lead a large company like Kroger in this city and to maybe play a role in the advancement of the city, I saw to be very attractive. So when you ask the question, what brought you back? It's just my connection with the city, my love for the city, and then having an opportunity to play a role in the advancement of the city.
Very full circle career.
Yeah. I love telling my team, the very door that I walked in for my management trainee interview in 1985 is the exact same door I walked back in as division president. And so you talk about a full circle moment.
How crazy.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. But an awesome experience. This December, I celebrate 40 years with Kroger.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. Only company I ever worked for as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's pivot a little bit and talk about Kroger.
Yeah.
How does Kroger support economic and workforce development in our region?
Yeah, what a great question. You think about Kroger and you think about its presence within this market. One of the things that we're pretty proud of is we're one of the largest employers within this city. And so when you think about that, if you just even think about our associates, and we have about 7,600 employees within Metro Memphis, about 13,000 within the division. But two things just come to mind that kind of speaks to your workforce development and speaks to economic impact. Our full-time employees, our frontline associates, their average pay is a little less than $20. If you think about fully loaded with benefits, it's a little less than $26. And so you think about that employee having an opportunity to take care of their families, that employee kind of have that full-time multiplier that really impact the vitality of this community, whether they're out engaging within tourism, if they're out engaging within restaurants, or they're out engaging in however they are. They're really creating that multiplier. And so really excited that we have an opportunity to kind of drive that economic engine through our roughly 7,600 employees. But it's larger than that. You think about the economic impact. Last year we built a brand new store in Arlington, Tennessee. That store cost us about $40 million. We also are currently expanding two of our stores in Metro Memphis. Our store out in Tatoka that we're expanding. Everything goes to schedule. We'll get it open before Thanksgiving. But that's about a $30 million investment there. We're also in the process of expanding our store in Oakland, Tennessee.
Okay.
And both of those communities are thriving, expansive growth, but that's another $30 million investment. And if you recall, I believe it was in mid-23, we expanded our store in Collierville on Houston Levee.
Yes.
And so if you think about all three of those stores, that's about a $90 million investment, and on top of the $40 million that we did in Arlington. But we've also invested about $20 million worth of remodels in Metro Memphis as well as North Mississippi. And so if you look at all of that, that's about a $150 million investment within the last 3 years. And I'll tell you, that's something we're pretty proud of. If you look at both elements, that would be employee engagement that kind of helps drive the vitality of the community, and you think about the economic investment. Think about contractors, think about subcontractors. You think about our presence within the community. So with that presence comes suppliers. So you think about, as large as we are, you think about Coke suppliers moving into Memphis. You think about Nabisco suppliers moving into Memphis. And so when you think about the presence of this awesome company called Kroger that I'm blessed to lead within this area, we like to think we play a major role into the vitality, the economic development, but also the employment within the city.
You definitely do. I mean, of course, there are so many. I mean, you said you started out as a bagger and now you're district president. So, there are so many roles in between that give the opportunity for somebody to be employed by Kroger. And then you talk about all the locations that you have. Yeah. I mean, I know just in my little circle of where I live, there's at least 3 Krogers within like a 5-minute drive.
Yeah, in Metro Memphis, we have about 34 stores within the area. And, the average distance for a grocery shopper is about 2-mile radius. And so once you get outside of that 2-mile radius, it's an opportunity for another chance to connect with the customer. Customers on average visit a grocery store, about 3 to 4 times a week. And so that convenience factor is critical to that customer. And so when you speak to, in your area, it's also distance and kind of how you're driving and where you're coming from. But the thing that we're most proud of is when I'm out in the community and I have an opportunity to engage with people, or as we refer to customers, is when they say, that's my Kroger.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like that affinity. And because of that, or that affection to it, but because of that frequency, we get to know you. You get to know our cashiers. And because you get to know us, we get to know you. We build a relationship with you. And thusly, it's very easy / normal for a customer to refer to it as mine, because I'm in there so frequently. And I know Sherry in the deli department. I know Michael back in the meat department, and I know my favorite cashier up front. So you build a relationship, and we think that's important as well.
Definitely. I've got to tell you a little story on that note. My brother, about a year ago, moved to a different place. He's in Memphis, but still to this day drives to the Kroger that he has been going to for years, because that is his Kroger.
Yeah.
He has chosen that Kroger that's maybe a minute further, because that is his Kroger.
Yeah. And it's so normal, but it's that relationship. And again, because of that frequency, you feel like, and we want you to feel like, that's my store. And mainly because you know the people, you know where everything is. That's why we get some feedback when we remodel the store. They're like, oh my God, you've tore up my store. I used to get items on this aisle, and now you've moved them over here. Or it was at the further end of this aisle, and now it's over here. And so, but it's that relationship. But more importantly, it's that frequency of the customer in the store.
Yep. And, it's familiarity, friendly faces, comfortability. It's just all of that wrapped up into that store, which is why people keep saying, that's my Kroger. And they will go to that Kroger.
Absolutely. The grocery industry, the grocery business, the grocery store is such a fixture within the community. And because that, certainly we sell groceries, and yes, that's what we do. But it's actually larger than that. Groceries are a food nutritional item. And because of that, you're feeding your families, and you're feeding your families with the intent of protecting and taking care of your families. And so all of a sudden, that grocery store is bigger than just a store. It's a part of the fabric of the community. And because of that, it's larger than just driving a business. Certainly that's important. Certainly we recognize Kroger's a Fortune 25 company. It's a public company, which means shareholders are investing in it. And all those things are important. But the most important thing is that we have a responsibility to that community. And so when customers say, it's my Kroger, it's almost like an extension of their family.
Yep. I mean, I was giving my brother a hard time for it. I was like, don't you think that one's a little closer? He's like, I don't care. I want to go to my Kroger.
Yeah, he knows where everything is in that store, and it's convenient for him. It's easy for him. And then, Lord willing, hopefully there's an employee in that store that he has a relationship with that he knows takes good care of him. And it's just like going to a restaurant, you know. Yeah. You go there for a reason, and you go there because of the service. You go there because of the value. You go there because of the atmosphere. And all those things are things that you don't always want to compromise or recess. And because of that, your brother wants to go to where he has that great familiarity.
He does. But you've talked a little bit about that community, and you've also talked about your personal community involvement. Kroger has invested in the region. We've talked about that through workforce. We've talked about that through economic impact. But recently, you donated to Metropolitan Interfaith Association Meals on Wheels. Yeah. Among other organizations, you've done different sort of community involvement and engagement activities. Why is it necessary for Kroger to give back to that community?
Yeah, we touched on all things associated with a business, which is so important. And when I go in each day, we're certainly looking at how we're measuring on whatever our forecasts are, what our goals are. And obviously, we work very hard to deliver on those. But here's what our real truth is, Taylor. When we think about our purpose, we say our purpose is to feed the human spirit. And as we think about feeding the human spirit, it's all rooted in what we talked about a few minutes ago. And that is that familiarity, that pillar within the community, that reference within the community. And because we have that awesome relationship with our customers, we feel like it's one of our responsibilities to be not just a good corporate citizen, but to be a really strong advocate for our community. And so when you highlight our investment with MIFA, which is really important to what they do to take care of seniors within our community, I shared with you, I'm blessed to serve as the chairman of the American Heart Association Heart Walk. On yesterday, we had an opportunity to host a golf tournament. And within that golf tournament, we raised $120,000
Wow.
for the American Heart Association Heart Walk. And so when you think about what that investment will do to really slow down the rate of heart disease within our community, we think that's important. If I'm thinking back recently in partnership with the Women's Foundation, we donated $500,000 to that organization to provide 5 students to attend Lemoyne College, which we think is important. And being in the grocery business, our truth is within our community, we know, unfortunately, there are people who could be listening right now who could be food insecure. We've donated over $140,000 to various food banks within our community. So really proud of the work that we do to reinvest in the community, really proud of the work that I'm blessed to work for a company who says very proudly and very publicly, our purpose is to feed the human spirit. We don't say our purpose is to sell groceries. We say our purpose is to feed the human spirit. And the reason we say that is because we recognize we're such a strong fabric within this community. And so thanks for highlighting the work we've done with MIFA, but certainly we're very proud of the work that we've done across the region.
Of course. And I think that it's important to note that you're not, that's what makes Kroger stand out in comparison to other grocery stores, is that it's more than just selling groceries. It's not making money.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly that is a factor.
Absolutely.
But you're also giving back.
Yeah, and we like to do it in a consistent manner. We like to do it in a manner that connects within the community, whether it's large organizations, whether it be MIFA, large organizations, whether it be the American Heart Association. We have initiatives where your local nonprofit can sign up within our rewards program and partner up with your members, partner up with your family, sign up, and a percentage of those sales can go back into your organization. So it's big organizations we partner up, but also small. And the thing that we think is so important is it helps us amplify / reinforce what our purpose is. And I can't say it enough. Don't mean to be Pollyannish, as I referenced when I was a kid growing up in Grenada. But the grocery business, Kroger, we're in your community. We're not in your city. We're in your community. And because we're in your community, you see us, you know us, and you certainly invest in us, but we think it's one of our responsibilities to reinvest in that community.
Definitely. So in a similar vein, what other ways is Kroger supporting growth in Memphis?
Yeah, so you think about the community service initiatives that we talked about. One of the things that we're very intentional on is partnering with organizations who are also working towards the betterment of our city, working towards the fulfillment of our city. And you could even go so far as to say we're working towards the economic development. And there's 2 organizations that just stick out that we've been blessed to partner with. New Memphis is an organization that we provide sponsorship. I think they do some amazing work. They create an opportunity for organizations too, but individuals to go through some leadership development, but they also collaborate on bringing whether elected officials, targeted businesses together who have some commonalities to really amplify the greater aspects of the city. And again, we certainly would love to be a part of that. And another organization, the Mid-South Minority Business Continuum. You think about economic development, and they create opportunities for companies who might have limited resources, but need an opportunity for advancement within their businesses. We've had an opportunity to partner with them as well. And so as we work with community organizations, we also are very intentional on partnering with organizations, nonprofits who are doing some awesome work to really help the advancement of the city. And that's something we're pretty proud of as well.
On a personal note, why do you love Kroger and why do you like working there?
That's a great question in the context of I've always wanted to be a part of a company that saw something that was larger than just the financial implications associated with it. I'm always reminded when I was in college, I was blessed to serve as president of my chapter, and I remember some of my chapter brothers often telling me, Michael, we were pretty confident you were going to be leading something. The question was just, what was it? And part of that was I just saw value in association with taking an initiative and making it better. But I also recognize with our fraternity and what I see with Kroger is you have a larger responsibility to the community. And so when I think about Kroger and I think about the awesome work we do on scaling our brand, but I'm also very proud of the awesome work we do on amplifying a better community where we serve. And so when I think about being blessed to work for this company 40 years, and if you hear that, you think, oh my God, you've been doing the same thing for 40 years. I've been blessed to do probably, if I had to stop and do the math, I probably had 20 different roles in those 40 years. And then to be a part of a large company like Kroger, but fundamentally recognizing that every day, last night, I woke up just super excited about coming to work. And part of that excitement was to do the things that we do, but also that excitement of recognizing the work we're doing and the investments we're making in our community is going to make this region in this global economy a better nation for us to work within. And I get a chance to play a small role in delivering that.
What a great answer. Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your involvement with the Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
How did you first get involved with the Chamber?
Yeah, what a great question. You got some great questions, by the way.
Thank you.
So this is probably 22 years ago, maybe 22 years ago. Dick Tillman is our division president. I believe Dick served on the Chamber board as well. And so the Chamber was doing a capital campaign. And this is an assumption to be fact, but I'm assuming it probably went like this. They knocked on Kroger's door and asked Kroger to be a part of that capital campaign. And Tillman asked me to be the team captain for our division. And so I'm working on the campaign, and this is year one. And we raised about $15,000 that first year. And then the second year, we raised about somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000. And at the end of that second year, Richard Shaw he worked here at the Chamber at the time, and he was the chairman of the campaign. And I remember him asking me at the end of that campaign, hey, Michael, as we're starting to prepare for year three, we'd love for you to serve as one of our vice chairmen. And so I had an opportunity to serve as vice chairman. And so that was my first formal introduction, formal relationship with the Chamber. And I give Dick all the credit for asking me to serve as that team captain. And ultimately, I had some engagement with the Chamber ever since.
And now what's your involvement?
Yeah, so I never forget when I came back in May, we were already connected with the Chamber, and I'm visiting some of the events that we were a part of. And so now I'm getting to know Ted. Ted is not the president at the time. Beverly is president of the Chamber. I knew Beverly from a distance, had a relationship with her husband, Howard. Howard and I had served on the board of directors for the Memphis Urban League when I was here before. I was blessed to chair that group, so I knew Beverly. And so I'm visiting and engaging in some of the events, and then ultimately Ted becomes president. And I remember, I think we were in Nashville. Yeah, we were at a Mem to Nash event, and Ted and I were talking, and he comes to me and says, Michael, I know you've had some engagement with the Chamber. You've been engaged since you've been back. He said, I'd love for you to serve on the board if you have some interest. And I said, absolutely would. And so I've been on the board now for maybe 2 years, and I tell you, I couldn't be more proud of the work that we're doing. It's always exciting to be a part of something special, and I think the work that the Chamber is doing is special. I think it's certainly creating economic impact. I think it's creating a better fabric of life for our city. But again, I think it's forward thinking, and we're thinking about what type of city we would like to have 20, 30 years from now, and that foundation is being set now. And to be a part of that, representing a large company like Kroger, is pretty special. So when Ted asked me, I said absolutely, and I've been engaged ever since.
That's great. I mean, it takes the support and guidance from our board for us to be able to do what we do and really make an impact for the greater Memphis community. And so we thank you for taking the time to serve and show up to meetings and give your input to our organization.
Yeah, I think it's important. The elected officials, government, is all of that's important. But there is no fabric, there is no vitality without a very successful business community. Uh, we need our citizens to wake up every morning with an opportunity to go to employment, to create a business, to have a thriving nonprofit, to have a thriving economic engine within our city. And I think the work that the Chamber does creates that framework for you to plug yourself into that and create an opportunity for you to be successful. And again, if I can support Ted and this team, if I can support our various elected officials within this community to deliver upon that, we certainly want to play a role in it.
How has your involvement in the Greater Memphis Chamber helped Kroger strengthen its relationships with other local businesses and foster collaboration in this region?
Yeah, so you think about the Chairman's Circle, which I think is just this chamber does a lot of amazing things, but I think that Chairman's Circle is just such an awesome entity within the chamber because it brings together just a wholesome reflection of organizations, businesses, business leaders who have like opportunities, who has the interests of the community in mind. And I'm thinking about probably the most pressing issue within our community, unfortunately, is public safety. And when I think about the work that we've done in the Chairman's Circle of engaging Mayor Young and Chief Davis, engaging Sheriff Bonner, engaging the district attorney, engaging Judge Sugarman with juvenile court, when we've sat down and engaged that group on what we can do to really make our community safe, and to think about the Chairman's Circle playing a major role in driving that. And so you think about that level of collaboration. And I think about Kroger. We talked a lot about our stores are a fixture of the community. And so when customers come to our stores, when they open their car and set their foot on that parking lot, right then in that moment, one of the most important things to that customer is safety. Mm-hmm. Because there's a distance between that car and the door. And we want them to feel safe. They want to feel safe. And I'm here to tell you, one of the things that when I'm talking to my store leaders, I'm talking to our store teams, when I'm talking to customers, safety is a priority to them. Yes, they're concerned about pricing. Yes, they're concerned about quality. But I'm also here to tell you safety is in that list of things they're concerned about as well. And so when we're able to sit down and have robust discussions as a collective business group with the various entities within our community who influences that, I think it's a huge compliment to the Chairman's Circle, and it's a huge compliment to the Chamber on taking that type of a lead. And so when you think about an opportunity for collaboration and to really make that connection, one of the things that come to the forefront for me is the Chairman's Circle.
And in that, and in your involvement with the Chairman's Circle through our board and other various things, you mentioned Mem to Nash, and I believe you've done our DC fly-in mm-hmm. as well. Mm-hmm. What has been the most surprising thing you've gained from your involvement?
It's just the sheer energy and initiatives that the Chamber does. I think objectively, if people just probably say, oh, yeah, I've heard of a chamber, if you got any kind of age on you and you've lived in any community, whether it's a small community, mid-sized or large one, you probably heard of the chamber. And you probably have an idea of maybe what they do. But when you're really intimately involved like I am, and you go, wow, this organization is working on something called Prosper 2030, mm-hmm. where we were working to create 50,000 jobs by the year 2030. And not just jobs, but meaningful jobs that are really going to provide a significant wage, somewhere in the tune of around $50,000 plus, and a commitment to give a good portion of those jobs to African Americans within the city. When you think about the various business initiatives that the Chamber has been intimately involved in, Digital Delta, XAI, you think about Blue Oval, the Chamber's played a major role in those initiatives coming to the city. And then you just think about workforce development, partnering with companies, and really making sure that the resources are needed for those companies are not just available today, but preparing that workforce for tomorrow. And then you just think about the government relations. What Bobby does, all the initiatives I was talking about in that Chairman's Circle piece around public safety. And then, as you just mentioned, I participated in the DC fly-in. and having a chance to sit down and talk with Senator Blackburn, talking with Senator Haggerty, talking with my native state senator, Senator Smith, and really advancing the critical issues of Memphis. You got the business leaders taking the time to go there and really advocate for that. But you might think of the chamber, you just see them out there cutting ribbons on the grand opening. You see them out there partnering with the mayor, and it's just so many things that they're involved in. So when you get back to your question, Michael, what are you most surprised about? I'm just surprised by all the things that you guys are doing. Some of them quietly invisible, some of them are public facing, but you're playing a major role in the advancement of the city, and I couldn't be more proud to be associated with you. I couldn't be more proud of the work that you guys are doing. But that's what I discovered. I was like, wow, you guys do a lot here.
Thank you. We do, but we do it because we want to make Memphis greater.
Yeah.
And I know you've been around here long enough, and you've heard Ted ask the question, I'm sure, how are you making Memphis greater? What are you doing to make Memphis greater? So I want to end on this note. What is Kroger doing to make Memphis greater?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about it. I guess if I could take a nice little ribbon and kind of tie it up, couldn't be more proud of our division, this brand, been around since 1883. We play a major role in providing employment within this city. And employment is a pride thing. It's nothing more proud than to wake up in the morning and knowing that you're out providing a resource for your family, and knowing that little Johnny, little Mary, your wife, your spouse, you're going to be in a position to take care of them. We provide 7,600 employees the opportunity to do that. And then when you think about the multipliers I just talked about, you think about those kids and the lunches that they have, the toys that you buy them, the restaurants you take them to. Because of that employment, we create an opportunity for them to invest in other areas. And so I think that's very important. You think about the economic impact, $150 million we've invested. So as we think about those 7,600 employees that we're providing employment, we know that that investment is creating employment opportunities for others. And so that's something we're very proud of. The investment that we make within this community, when I say to you, our purpose is to feed the human spirit, we're very intentional of incorporating that into one of our business strategies. So we know it's important that we reinvest within this community. And then you think, we've been in this city since 1928.
Wow.
And so we've been here for an extended amount of time where we've established relationships with customers who trust us to provide a full, fresh, and friendly experience to them. And we are just super stoked that they give us that opportunity, and we're super impressed that they've given that opportunity for us for the last 97 years. And so when you think about what do we do to provide a greater Memphis, we think if we tie it all together, wow, we provide employment within this city, we provide economic development within this city, we invest within this community, and we think we have an awesome working relationship with the city, we have an awesome working relationship with this community. So very, very, very proud to be here.
Michael, thank you so much for sitting down with me today and just telling us all about Kroger and sharing about your story and how you guys are making Memphis greater.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Taylor. Thanks for giving us a chance to engage. Thanks for the partnership, and could not be more proud to be associated with an awesome brand.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Talk Chamber. We are so glad you're here. Kroger is not just a grocery store. It is a community pillar focused on giving back. With Micheal Cristal's leadership, Kroger is helping Memphis become greater. If you enjoyed this episode or learned a valuable piece of information, share it with a friend or maybe even a colleague. Subscribe to the Talk Chamber to keep up with the latest on the Chamber, economic development, and all things Memphis. Follow us on social media at Memphis Chamber, and we'll see you next time.